right, welcome to In the Zone webinar series. I'm your host, Fireman Rob. I've got an amazing, you talk about Superwoman, and you think of the comic books, but no, I've got Superwoman right here. Suzy Serpico, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
It's just an honor to have you on this show because, you have your Epic 5 shirt, and we're going to get to that because that's part of the story of who Suzy is. Now, how have you been doing with having to stay home?
It's been okay for the most part. I think, being able to bike and run has been life-saving. The swimming part, which is my favorite, was a little tough, but just recently I found a little spot to get into. So I really can't complain. We're safe, we're at home, and that's good.
And now you're teaching from home too. That's got to be a little different.
It's a little different, especially teaching PE. It's not a lot of skills we can do. So I will tell you, me and my coworker actually have a lot of fun making videos, dressing up and doing different exercises. So it's not actual PE, but as long as you can try to give the kids some type of activity to move for 20 minutes or so, we're doing our best.
And I love that, you're a physical education teacher because that really speaks to the volumes to what you did before you were the physical education teacher. Well, you actually had a job, you said, while you were a professional athlete. I loved what you said. I got to put the pee on the back of my leg during the day or during the weekend, and then I had to work during the week. Tell me more about what was it like to be a professional athlete and have to work?
I didn't find it much different in the training sense because I'm not really coachable. So when I went pro, I didn't have a coach, and it wasn't something that I was actually expecting. So I got my pro card at the Columbia Triathlon when it had pros, and it was I was the first amateur. So back in the day, it was any race that has $20,000 or more for the professionals. If you're the first amateur, you can go pro. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. That's pretty cool. But I wasn't ready just yet. I wanted to do another race. So I did Lake Placid. Wasn't my first Ironman or anything, but I did Lake Placid, and I was second amateur overall. So I was like, all right, let's give this a try. So I did. It was definitely an experience of a lifetime. And like I said, having the pee on the back of my leg and sitting in the room with the best of the best.
No, it was a pee. It was a markered pee, not pee like pee.
Oh, well, sometimes.
I just want to clarify.
Oh, yeah. No. A little bit of both. But yeah, it's an experience that I will never ever regret and never forget.
I love it. And then it transitioned really to you finding a different way to go about things. And I really want to dive into the Epic 5 because there's so many stories that I was reading on it. And for those who don't know what the Epic 5 is, can you give them just a taste? Because words can only give this so much justice.
Oh, of course. So basically the Epic 5 is 5 Ironmans, 5 days on 5 different islands of Hawaii. So you start on Kauai, you go to Oahu, Molokai, Maui, and then you actually end on the big island where the World Ironman Championship is held.
That's amazing. So and you can tell on your face that the smile of what it's like. Now, when you started this, did you have the belief that you could finish it?
So what I really liked about the Epic is I got to a point in my triathlon career where it wasn't about if I'm going to finish, but how well I'm going to finish, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So I wasn't I was excited because, again, we get to do this. That's a gift within itself. But I really wanted to find something that would scare me and excite me at the same time. And let me tell you, the Epic 5 was it. So I went in with the confidence that I felt well trained. You just don't know what to expect. So I had confidence going into it, but I still was scared shitless. Not gonna lie. Sorry, am I allowed to cuss?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
And I love how you said that because, in one of the articles that I was reading about you, that you commented about, it used to be all about winning and you never took that for granted, but too much pressure can take away the joy of the race. And I think, tell me more about that. How did that change your mindset to the way that you go about it now?
was great. So before I was pro, it was, I was racing to be top 3 overall for females. And I was pretty successful at that. And that's kind of, I got an identity for that of, are you going to win? Are you going to win? And that was great. I was a little bit younger. I was flattered, so I had that as a goal, not really realizing how much self-worth I put on that, because when I decided to go pro, that's an eye-opening experience, because I felt like I was racing to not be last. Yeah. And in a sense, I didn't really enjoy it. Not that I cared that I came last, but I already went in defeated before I started. And then that's kind of where I lost my passion for the sport. I was like, I'm not having fun. I actually, before I did the Epic, I did the Ultra 520K in Canada. And for me, that really renewed my love for the sport, because I didn't care where I finished. For me, it was about accomplishing the goal. And the ultra family is amazing. So it's like, you know what? I'm going out to set a goal for myself. And if you pass me or I pass you, hey, good job. It's setting that goal of being able to be a finisher instead of a winner. Does that make sense?
I love it, because it's almost synonymous. Like, in that circumstances, you are a winner because you finished. It's a you versus you. I think that's the more of the philosophy nowadays. And it's so, you can definitely see it with what you did in the Epic 5. Now, you guys are a endurance family, you and your husband. And I'm going to get back to the Epic 5, but I'm really setting the stage here, because you guys, when you did your honeymoon, not the same as most people, you decided to go to Ironman or you did an Ironman in Cozumel.
Yes, Ironman Cozumel was our honeymoon.
Super relaxing. You guys, how was it? Actually, who won?
Well, there's a little story there. I'll be quick with it.
No, you're fine.
I mean, I love my husband, but he does not do well in the heat. So it was a very bittersweet race. We did the swim together. We normally can swim together, same pace for that. I went off a little bit on the bike. It got hot. He was a little delirious. I saw him on the run, and I was like, how are you doing? How are you doing? Do you want me to run with you? What do you want me to do? He's like, well, how are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm right now, if I'm correct, I have a spot for Kona. He's like, well, keep going, keep going. I'm like, okay. But I was young and in love, and I'm still am in love, but I was willing to give up Kona for Danny. But no, he was great. He said, keep going. So I did. And I didn't see him on the bike course again, but when I got done, I checked the med tent and said, hey, is there a Danny Serpico in here? And they said, no. I was like, okay, he's out on the course. He found his groove. He's doing well. So I lay down, get a massage, change my clothes. Somehow I walk by the med tent and I hear my husband, Suzy. I'm like, oh no. So I go in the med tent. Unfortunately, he was pulled from the course. We spent about 2 hours until he could keep fluids down in the med tent. But on the opposite side, because we were in Cozumel and weren't back in the day, able to just go to a random person and say, hey, can I borrow your cell phone? What was happening with Ironman tracking before, way back when, it had all of my results until my last run split. And then it had Danny's no run splits. So everybody at home was freaking out, thinking something so bad happened to one of us and we didn't know this. So as soon as we finally get released, it was probably like 3 hours later, we got back to the hotel. I called my mom and I was like, hey, she's like, oh my God, I'll call you right back. And she had to call everybody, just making sure we were okay. But where the bittersweet is, I qualified for Kona that time.
Wow.
So he had his first DNF and I did Kona. So, we're still married. So that's great.
It's kind of like a Cuisinart. One person likes it, the other doesn't. Well, that's awesome. And then you guys also, Rip It events, and then you have Rip It coaching that you do. So you expanded not just in the event side, but you also help other individuals. Tell me more about Rip It.
So Rip It was created, I think 8 years ago. So we started with Rip It events. We started with one race, and now we're up to said and done with races we've continued and canceled. We added 3 new virtuals. So I think we have about 12 races, and they're between running races and duathlons. And then we just acquired Swim Run Maryland. So that'll happen next year with the new Swim Run. Yeah.
Yes.
So And then we actually had 2 or 3 buddies of ours say, hey, do you have any desire to coach? I was like, I don't know. So I took them on, and it's great because Danny seems to be the head of the event side and I am the assistant, whereas vice versa with the coaching, I'm in charge and he's my assistant. So it's a great match.
I love it. I love it. Now we're going to get back into the Epic 5 because there are so many stories and so many experiences that you had along the way that I think a lot of people can take away certain things. So take me through your mindset. You land on the island, you have your crew with you, and it's such a cool experience to have people that will help you to find your own dream. I mean, that's huge, isn't it?
I mean, my crew was amazing, and things actually had to change because I was planning on doing Epic 5 in Canada, and that was going to be in July. So my husband changed some things around, so he was going to be on my crew. I asked somebody else. So I didn't feel as rushed because that was July. I get an email in December saying not enough interest, so that one's canceled. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I basically, in this thing, the 1st of May, unfortunately, my husband couldn't go. We had to figure some things out. And because they already changed some races around, it was better for him to stay here and be tuned in with people with me rather than have him be there and be distracted by what's going on here because you needed full attention. So I called my buddy up that I met in the ultra world, Mark, and he already crewed for me at one of the ultras. And he was my crew chief. He was amazing. He came from Canada. And then I actually had good friends of ours that I actually teach their daughter in PE, Stephanie and David Blades. So they found coverage for their daughter that was in 2nd grade, and they made their way. So the crew, I mean, they put me at ease knowing that I was going to be in great hands. Oh, life-changing. That's
amazing. And just 2 shout outs. Lisa and Jacob both said Rip It is fantastic. And
cool.
Lisa says she loves her coach. So
well, good. I love her too.
So now you're there. You've got your crew chief and everything's getting ready. You hit the start line. You know how much things you have in front of you. What are you thinking about that?
Yeah, I didn't think it that way. I thought about what was in front of me and what I had to do. Day 1 was the only day that we had to make the plane that evening. So I wasn't worried. And for me, the swim is my happy place. So to be able to start the swim each time, and this swim we started on day 1 they actually had to change it due to some conditions of the other one. And it was a sign. I saw the turtle. I saw the turtle in the first swim. And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, I saw the turtle. But day 1 was okay for the most part. A beautiful, beautiful swim, beautiful bike course. That was the day I did end up getting sick. I threw up a few times on the bike, and also a little bit on the run. I still felt okay. So it wasn't like, oh my God, this is going to be horrible. But everything kind of really went as planned. My crew was great. And we made the plane ride, and I don't want to say it was uneventful, but it kind of went as I thought. And I took it easy. Thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. My first day was my fastest day. Obviously, I did it in 13 hours and 40 minutes. So that was day 1.
That's amazing. That's one of those things. But now I want to go into the fact that a lot of times we have to do these crazy things. We have to have a larger purpose. Yeah. And you had a larger purpose for going to those to do this crazy Epic 5. Tell me more about your dad and the cause and the challenge that you took on that helped you to persevere, that made it easier.
I think just doing it alone is or with my crew, it's a very selfish thing to do. I mean, you're out there for 5 days, you're asking these people, and to me, to put meaning behind it, and I've always been a daddy's little girl, and my dad got diagnosed with Parkinson's a little while ago, and I paired up with a buddy that I actually went to high school with, and he already had Bigfoot endurance. And I was like, hey, is there a way that we can kind of mesh this together? Because I want to be able to raise awareness and raise some funds for it through something that is selfish, to not make it unselfish, but to bring awareness to something. Right. So yeah, we raised over $10,000. So that was amazing. Great.
And the feeling that you had something that was bigger can get you through those dark moments. I mean, you had to have a lot of dark moments on those courses.
I did, but so this is a tattoo that I have. It's RWLU. It stands for Remember Who Loves You. It's a saying that my mom, sister, and dad and I always have with each other. And a long time ago, I would write it in Sharpie on my arm just to remember it. And then I eventually got it tattooed on me. Thanks, Mom. And I was always able to look at that, you know, and be like, okay, this is something that I know my family's there. I love, you know. So there's always something that I'm able, even I tell my clients, as soon as you go negative, try to twist it around into something positive.
Love it.
So I had to practice what I preach.
I love it. And then we're on to day 2. What island are you on day 2?
Day 2, we are on Oahu. So we actually flew into Oahu day 1. So we flew in there that night. I am so lucky because I knew somebody that actually lived on Oahu. Jason, or he goes by JD, and he was amazing. We got to stay at his house as soon as I got there. They had food. He asked what I wanted. It was all there. We got up the next day, and he was my paddler, because you had to have a paddler in all the swims. So he was my paddler, and he also biked with me the whole entire way, which was a lifesaver because Oahu is the busiest island. And for your crew to be able to get there between the traffic and stuff, it would have been a little bit tough. So he biked with me the whole entire way. It was amazing. And that day I had 5 flats.
5 flats.
5 flats. Yep.
Wow.
And yeah. But you know what? Here's the thing. Instead of saying, oh my God, I have 5 flats, I was like, okay, this is some time I can get some extra rest. Wait for my crew. They can change it. I'm not going to freak out. To me, I was fine with the time. So yeah, 5 flats. And we got back. And then the run, what was the run? The run was part of the actual Honolulu Marathon. So you got to see, it was great. I mean, beautiful. And then you even had the great scenery with the ocean at night. You get to see the stars. And then we actually went back to JD's house, slept there again. So it was great. I mean, 2 nights. They had food ready for us, dinner. I mean, you had this, you had that. It was just, that was a huge, huge help to have somebody that knew the island. It put my crew at ease. And that also was the day that my crew chief turned to me in the morning because my stomach was very upset. And that's where I had some doubt. I was like, oh no, am I going to be able to do this because I don't feel good? My stomach. I didn't really tell anybody, but I said, hey, anything we can do? And my crew chief said, do you trust me? And I said, yes. So pretty much the nutrition was up to my crew.
Wow.
After that.
How many calories did you have to front load, or did you just increase as the days went on?
You know what? It was hard because you would think you would be starving at the end of each day. And the last thing you wanted to do was eat. I'm pretty good about hydrating. Like I do drink a lot with the bottles. I think that's what happened the first day is we overloaded the calories in the bottles because I drink so much. Yeah. So we kind of did that. A lot of it was liquid calories. The bike, I would try to eat some things. But yeah, I mean, you wanted pizza and fries at the end and you took 2 bites and you're like, all right, I'm done. I'm done. So yes.
Yeah. So
that was day 2. Day 2 was done. I have my time in 15 hours and 16 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So definitely got a little slower.
Got a little slow, but you had 5 flats. I mean, you got to give yourself a little.
Oh, you know what? Even if it was 17, 18, I wouldn't want that because then you wouldn't get a lot of sleep. But yeah, no, so that was good. I mean, day 2 was pretty good.
You're still faster than me in fire gear, so just so that gives you an insight.
Yeah, that's.
I was getting excited, and she was like 16. Oh, I better beat her.
Oh, you just wait till the last day.
All right, day 3. Where are we at here? With day 3.
Oh, day 3 was Molokai.
Okay.
Or if you look, a lot of it call it like Milwaukee, and I'm like, oh, yeah. So it's Molokai, and Molokai they say is the most desolate island. We flew that morning, and everything arrived, so no problem. We actually had to swim in a pool because of the sharks and the current. Yeah. So, but I'm not gonna lie, it was actually kind of nice to swim in the pool.
Yeah, it's a little
because you didn't have to wear your wetsuit.
Yeah.
So I wore like the lava pants because I'm not big on kicking, so I'm like, ugh. But it was nice to get in the pool. It was nice to do some flip turns with the back. Unfortunately, my crew member Stephanie was in charge of counting all my laps. Thank you, Steph.
She's a math teacher?
No. They just had a day. She probably, just sit there and tally them. But luckily my swim's the best, so it wasn't
Good.
too long. People ask me which one's my favorite island, and I think if I had to pick one, it was Molokai. Just because it was so surprising how, even though desolate it was gorgeous. It was more of my course too, where it was some flats, and then you had some like a hill climb, a gradual hill climb, which I like. Also, surprisingly, I knew somebody on that island. I'm like, this is all through the ultra world.
That doesn't surprise me though.
Yeah, but I'm like, Molokai of all islands, they came out to come at the beginning of the swim just to cheer me on. They even, though Adam came out in a monkey suit, and jumped out and cheered me on with bananas and stuff. And the great part is Amelia did our laundry, which was huge. It was huge. So I can't complain. So the bike was pretty uneventful. It was, flat back. I was happy. This is where the run
wheels came off.
No, they didn't come off just yet.
They're still on, but going like this.
Oh my God. That was where my feet felt they were 5 sizes too big.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much the last 8 miles. My feet were like, ugh. And I wanted to try to change my shoes. That wasn't good. I wanted to go barefoot. No. So we pretty much ended up walking the last 4 miles. Okay. And when I got done, I don't know if you've seen, they wanted to take a picture like day 1, day 2, day 3. Day 3, I was like, I'm over this. Like, I just want to go to bed, and this is just horrible.
Yeah.
Still in good spirits, but right. I was like, I don't want any more pictures. Let's just go to bed. So went to bed. That day was 15:18. So pretty consistent with day 2.
There you go.
That was the day, I have my notes, that I ate 3 fries and a bite of pizza and said, I'm done. And then I just wanted to go to bed.
When you laid down in bed, though, did you feel like your body was still moving? Did you have like that sensation, or were you just out?
No, I was fine. I was just tired. You were just tired. So, and it was great. And here's where, again, I owe my crew everything. My crew just said, hey, go to bed. I went to bed, and they pretty much took over everything. There is a guy that packs the bikes for you. So once you're done the bike, he will pack it up for you. But they literally put everything in, got everything out, packed the car, got out what I needed. And it was like, I'm forever grateful for them.
I love it. So a bite of pizza, and we're on to day 4.
Yeah.
What does that feel like? You're over the hill, almost there. What does that feel like?
Good. I mean, in so many terms, day 4 was actually my best day. Okay. And I think a few reasons for that. We started the swim. Again, now that we took the flight that morning, we started the swim. It's so weird because there were no buoys. There was no turnaround. You have your kayaker that's like, there was a buoy to turn, and then they're like, go this way. And you want to head towards there. But when you think you're good, let's turn around. Hey, whatever you want me to do, I'll do. And I saw 2 turtles in the swim. So I was like, this is great.
Even better.
Got out of the swim. And Stephanie and Mark were there, but David was not. So they said, hey, you have a choice. You can either stay and wait for the bikes, or you can go out and do 9 miles of the run first. I was like, well, let's do the 9 miles. And this is also where we tried to borrow a few people's shoes to see if they were bigger, and nothing worked. So I was like, Mark, just cut out the top. And let me tell you, this was the most amazing thing ever. You would think that they would flop around. Oh my God, my feet were so happy. It was those 9 miles. I don't want to say I wasn't in pain, but they were doable. So did the 9 miles. I know. Did the 9 miles, feeling good, got on the bike. The bike was beautiful. It was very rolling and everything like that. Yeah. There was a little section where I was supposed to go straight, but my crew wasn't there, and they told me I was supposed to just go back the way. So I added on probably the toughest hill of the 5 days that I wasn't supposed to do, but I did it anyway, and I'm proud of myself for doing it.
I love it.
And then the run, again, it was great because you had to do less than 26 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the run was pretty good. Again, the great part about the runs is you could have company. So my crew was with me, and they would alternate back and forth. And obviously you can tell on the run, I'm a talker. So I'd always talk, how's the crew doing? What you guys did? Any stories? Shocking. But yeah, that was my best day. We went to bed. I will tell you though, that night was my worst night. My feet were on fire. I tried to like soak them. I think I maybe got an hour of sleep.
Oof.
Just because I was up, not because of the time. I think we were in bed for like maybe like 4 hours, but my feet were just on fire. But hey, whatever. At least I got an hour of sleep. And that day was 15 hours and 27 minutes.
15, 27.
So you can see pretty consistent. 15, 15, 15.
Pretty consistent. And then you're like, yes, last day. My feet feel like crap. I've got these new shoes that nobody else is going to buy because there's no toe hole in them.
Oh, yeah. I even wore those through the airport.
No, you have your bike shoes too. Show us the bike shoes.
Oh, well, this was day 5.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, it didn't feel as good as what the bike did, but these definitely did help and save. It was hard with like clipping out because you had no toes. But hey, you know what? I should trademark these. You should.
Yeah. So you started the swim day 5. I mean, you're done. You're in essence there.
Yes.
You've just got to survive.
And you know, this day you had until noon the next day to finish. We started at 10 or 11 in the morning. So there was no, again, unless anything went horrible, we were doing pretty good. And it was exciting, but you don't celebrate yet. It was also surreal because Kona was my big dream, and I got that. So to be on, the courses were similar. So to be on this course, this way versus with 2,500 people, it was very different. The swim, we didn't do the whole 1 mile out, 1 mile back because of the chop. So we did half mile out, half mile back, and did that twice. Okay. But that view was surreal. It was like, oh my God, back in the day. And the pier, I mean, no one's there. You're like, wait a minute, this is where all the bikes are. This is where this is. This is just crazy.
Yeah.
So that, you know, again, and once you get me in the swim, my mindset changes and I'm like, all right, I got this. That day was definitely hot. So I stopped a few times a little more on the bike just to cool off a little bit. My crew was great about putting ice in bags and just holding them there. The course was completely different than what I remembered. You know, the lava fields you can never forget, but going to Javi and stuff, I'm like, I don't remember any. I remember the turnaround, but I'm like, are you sure this is the same course? Yeah. But some of it brought back some great memories, and I'm like, this is great. Nothing really, except it was hot. Yeah. What so weird? We were all within about 10 minutes of each other at the turnaround. The three of us. So Brian was the first one, and then about 10 minutes later, I crossed, and then Gorev crossed right about that. So I mean, they said this year was the closest we've all have been within finishing time. Yeah. So it was the most crew or the most sleep that the event staff got. I mean, there were only 3 of us, but still. Yeah. Wow. So they were quite happy. Wow. Yeah. But let's talk about that run.
How many started it? Okay. How many started those? 3.
3. Well, I know.
It kind of lends itself to telling you how hard this is.
Yeah. Well, I know what years they've had 10. The max they do take is 10. Like I said, I was the 4th female to finish it, but the 5th one to attempt it. The nice thing is that if you don't finish one of the days, you can continue on the next day, but you're considered a participant.
Ooh.
Yeah, no. I know. No, I want to be that finisher. That's why I tell my crew, the only thing I want to do is finish. I don't care what you have to do, what you have to say, just get me there.
Dragging.
Which they were tested because the run on day 5.
Yeah.
I was feeling great. I actually did not want my crew to run with me. Reason being because at times when they're running with me, I felt like I had to apologize for my pace, and I didn't want to feel like I had to keep up with them or be embarrassed, But I had a pretty good shuffle for I was like, God, this is day 5 and I'm going to do this. I'm going to crush it. And then mile 20 hit.
Oh boy.
Let me tell you, I have never hit a wall like this. I mean, if this is what hitting the wall is, I never want to experience it again. Basically, I was like, I am done. I didn't want to talk to anybody. So we got to the car. I was like, maybe I can take a little nap. I had plenty of time. So my crew was awesome. They laid out on the sidewalk. I was in the car or in the van trying to sleep. And I was just miserable. I was like, my feet hurt. I was like, F this. Let's just continue going. And And when I get miserable, I mean, I'm usually have a smile. I'm happy go lucky. No, this was like, so I had, we finally went to the turnaround, and then coming back, they made, David, they didn't force him, but they made sure David was with me the whole entire time, just because I wasn't feeling good. So it was,
that makes sense.
And I didn't talk at all. I was like, David, I'm sorry. I'm not talking. I apologize. But yeah, so we just kept walking, and we just kept walking the last 6 miles, and it was horrible. My marathon time was 8 hours and 6 minutes that day.
You still beat me. No.
Yeah. But here's the thing.
But it's worth it.
Yeah. It made me work for it. I mean, I had to work all days for it, but it really made me, I had to dig deep, and, it was amazing. My crew got me through it. And one of the best things, the picture that I have is my favorite, is crossing that finish line, same finish line as Kona, but me and my crew crossing that finish line together.
Yeah.
That finish line, I think, is the most special.
Yeah.
Because it is. It's just you in the dark, nobody out there. The staff was there, but it was absolutely. I'm still speechless about it. Yeah, it was epic. I tell you, yes, epic.
They hit the right word.
Yes, but it was. I mean, once you finish, you're so floored with emotions of everything. I don't think it took until maybe a week later to really settle in what I just done.
That's amazing.
And even till this day, I still am like, oh my God, how did I do that?
Right. But those are the great things in life, and those are the great things that people can aspire to and look at and go, yes, if I want to push myself, I can, and I can do it in this manner. What would you say? Go ahead. One
of the things I did after that is, it's true. Find your epic. Whatever your epic 5 is, whether it's you want to get up off the couch and do 1 mile each day, that's fine. Maybe your goal is you want to get up, and it doesn't even have to be athletic, but find something that's going to get you a little bit out of that comfort zone and challenge yourself, because it can be life-changing no matter what it is. So yeah, I always say, find your epic.
I love that. And I'm not even going to ask that's exactly what I was going to ask you.
Well,
and you answered it before. Look at that. Yes. Even through a webinar. I love it. Well, Suzy, your story is so amazing. Where can people find you online?
I am on Facebook as well as Instagram.
Okay. And then if
Suzy
you want
Serpico, yeah, I think so.
Okay. And then if they want more information on this, you have all of your followers on here watching. Yeah. If they want more information on Rip It, where would they go?
Rip It is www.ripitevents.com. RIPIT events.
Awesome. Well, Suzy, I know we will have you on again. We've got some great things coming up with Endurance Zone that I think you're going to be a part of. So I think people have to just keep looking for Suzy, because, it's going to be like, where's Waldo?
You never know.
Well, Suzy, thank you so much for being an inspiration and telling us your story.
Thank you for having me. And you guys all get out there, find your epic, whatever it is, share it with me, let me know. I love to hear it.
I love it. Well, thank you, Suzy, and thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. We'll see you guys next time on E-Zone in the Zone. Thank you.